EA Sports and the Web.com Tour proudly present third round coverage of the Web.com Tour Championship. We are into the third round of the Web.com Tour Championship, the fourth and final stop of the Web.com Tour Finals. 50 PGA Tour cards up for grabs, dreams about to be made.
It's amazing what's ahead of these young players, Rich. Not just getting through the next two rounds, but also trying to suppress perhaps what might be for them next year.
So the action is underway, and we'll take you out now to our featured golfer here at number 1. Frank, it's a different feeling on the first tee on a weekend, third round of a championship like this than, say, on the first round, isn't it?
You know you've got the grips of the golf course. You know the holes that are birdieable out there. More importantly, too, you know how well you're playing. It's all in front of you. Sport, especially like this at the highest level.
Frank, you want to get off to a good start. This approach shot here at the first is important.
It is. Two distinct levels on this green, the high side on the left there and the lower side on the right. If you're trying to keep that ball a little left of a middle, you've got to be careful of that bunker on the left.
Just a case of a hole suiting the player's eye. Made the birdie yesterday, and he has a good chance to make another one today. Birdie here yesterday. This putt again for birdie. Just playing excellent golf. 5 under for the tournament. Second hole, it's a par 5.
You'd think birdie or eagle off this tee, and we've seen a lot during the Players' Championship, but once again, you have to move that tee shot right to left, but be careful of those pines.
And that's going to stay on the fairway here at the second hole. Second shot coming up here at the par 5. Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
Well, that is a ball-striking clinic right there. Another dazzling approach shot. Pretty close. This one just requires a little bit of focus. Not a real hard game, is it? Birdie to open. So we started with a par 4, then a par 5, and now the 177-yard par 3 third hole. Plenty of hazards here, Frank.
Yeah, you really break this green up into 3 portions. Front left, front right, and that back, just on top of the ridge. This is like cyber vision. Shot after shot, right at the flag.
Just dialed in. Not a gimme, but well within his range.
Rich, that just adds insult to injury to the rest of the field. Another birdie, and the gap even wider.
A sensational performance. Frank, how would you describe the bunker all along the right here at number 4?
Well, it looks like it never stops. It covers really the entire length of that tee shot down the right side.
Good start to the hole, Frank.
Yeah, nice drive there. Swinging well, too. This will certainly set up this hole.
Frank, the second here at the 4th is a dangerous shot.
Once again, this is another example of where you have to look at the green. Where exactly is the flag? If it's on that high portion, you've got to fly it all the way back.
Oh, can't hide the flagstick from that man. Par yesterday, now for birdie. No problems early, looks good.
Does look good. This bodes well. We might be in for a very, very low round today.
Fifth hole here at TPC Sawgrass, long par 4. What's the challenge, Frank?
Depending, really, if you're long or short hitter. The long hitters have the luxury of taking it over the corner of the bunker down the right. Shorter hitters really play at that bunker down the left, 320 run out. Second shot.
Chance for birdie after that beautiful shot. Boy, this could be a tough one right here, Frank.
It's a very long putt, Rich. Obviously, it's difficult, but he still has a shot to sink this one for birdie.
Very well done. Almost made it.
Yeah, there'll be no stress for the next one.
Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. That's a solid par putt. Frank, this isn't a hole that sort of jumps out at you the way, say, 17 does.
Yeah, a lot of times people will just sort of gloss over it, but anytime you get a par 4 under 400 yards, it's a great opportunity. But once again, a positional hole. Take advantage of it.
That's in the fairway. Frank, how do you size up the approach shot now at the 6th?
Ideally, you'd want to have a good yardage in here. Something where you can hit a nice, high, lofted short iron to make sure that you don't mess with those palm trees.
Good, clean contact and a nice result. And a chance for birdie coming up.
Now it's at sneaky distance.
Wow, I thought he made that.
Now putt for par.
Clean this up with a tap. Did the job right there. Frank's 7th hole here at TPC Sawgrass. How do you break this one down?
Not overly long, 440 yards, but once again, it's a tee shot. If you're driving the ball well, that's fine. You just sort of blister it down there, but you're starting to lose one a little bit to the right. There's 3 pot bunkers there, and of course, if you're fearful of it going left, there's the canal all the way down the left side that'll get your attention.
Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
This is a good-looking shot. Well, he gave us a demonstration today why he's one of the best in the sport. Every green hit in regulation. Frankie took plenty of time on this birdie putt. He looked at it from 3 different angles. He forgot one very important ingredient.
Yeah, pace. You can definitely fall in love with the line, even with approach shots as well, but obviously we see it more on putting.
Cleans that up in the hole. Frank, the 7th hole here at the TPC Sawgrass, vintage Pete Dye, isn't it?
It is. Anything other than straight confuses the player off the tee. But there's 3 pot bunkers down the right side, just inside that last little pot bunker on the left of that. It's actually a pretty good line.
Into the tall cabbage. That ball is swallowed up. Ball sitting down here in the rough. He's digging in. Coming out of the rough and right up next to the hole. 8-foot putt here. has his par. Frank, what do you make of the final hole here on the front side, the 583-yard par 5 ninth?
It just depends on how much you want to risk here. If you hit a good drive down the right side, it's certainly gettable for 2, but you can make an absolute mess here at 9.
Always makes the hole easier, playing it from the fairway. Nice position, short grass, second shot. Frank, narrow entryway to this green here at the 9th. Short shot, but kind of difficult.
Yeah, don't want to get too aggressive here. You missed the green on the left, that bunker there, very difficult to get it up and down. And of course, there's the 2 little pop bunkers on the right side.
Chance to close out the front side here with a birdie. Made a par in his previous round. This time, it's for birdie.
Do that.
Now on to one of the most exciting back nines in golf here at the TPC Sawgrass and the Stadium course. Let's begin at number 10. Frank, and what do you make of this hole?
It's another one where you're just trying to fit the tee shot in the fairway there. It's not a driver, just something that stays right. And of course, we've seen a lot of people stray here down the left side. Who can forget Mickelson when he won his Players' Championship, hitting that phenomenal 7-iron out of the fairway bunker, through the trees, and still finding the putting surface. But speaking of the putting surface, this green has more undulations than just about any green on the golf course.
Well, he'd like to have that one back in the bunker.
Still a chance to get it up and down.
You know how to play this shot, Frank, right? You keep your chin up, you look down your nose at the ball, you have to pick it cleanly, and keep your head still. So, Frank, out of the bunker and back into play.
Yeah, the late Bobby Jones used to say the hardest shot in golf's always the next one. Well, by getting the ball back in play, he just made that a little easier.
Frank, how about that?
Well, can you believe that, too? I mean, could have hit the flag and bounced away. Instead, straight in. Amazing shot, and really deserves it.
Let's go to the 11th. Now, it's a par 5 and a fun hole, Frank. You can make anything from 3 to 7 here.
And that's why, as the start of the back nine, especially on a Sunday, this becomes such a pivotal hole to start a run. Big body of sand down the left side that sometimes the longer hitters can get close to with the tee shot, but really it's the second shot. If you can reach this par 5 and 2, it's a very narrow green. The layup, well, it's actually an awkward layup, Rich, because you've got to push that ball to the left side, almost like a zigzag approach.
Paying attention like a little kid at school, Frank. That baby's sitting up.
Sitting up. It's got the best view as well. You don't even need binoculars from where that ball is.
Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
That will be a great look at birdie. He really likes this hole. Made birdie yesterday. Can he do it again today? Putting up some impressive numbers out here now, 9 under for the tournament. Frank, what's so much fun about TPC Sawgrass is the excitement that it generates for a fan and how many different holes there are. 12 is a good example.
Yeah, 12 looks like it's fresh from Scotland. You can see why Pete Dye spent a lot of time over there. Tee shot looks straight away, but the second shot is blind. The shot you'd get in Scotland with a wedge where you just see the top of the flagstick and you've got to really guesstimate on the yardage that you have. But a good wedge shot and someone that can judge their distance, this is certainly a birdie hole.
Seems to like it. Looks like it's headed for the green. Wow, Frank, he is dialed in.
Yeah, that was just some shot on there. Easy birdie.
So a tester from 4 feet. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Frank, so much focus on the back nine here at the stadium course at TPC Sawgrass on the 17th hole with the island green. I think 13 gets lost sometimes, but the pros know this is a really good hole.
Oh, it can be disastrous too. That's, I think, what you're referring to, Rich. There's a big ridge in the middle of this green that bisects the top side with the bottom side on the left. So even when the flag's on the left, you don't have to go directly at it, because that normally causes the problem with the...
No way! He hold it, Frank.
Great pitch shot.
Frank, the 14th hole. A lot has happened here over the years.
I think it's the litmus test on the back nine. That's where things really start to heat up. It looks like a straightforward tee shot, but often the eyes wander to that water down the left side. And of course, if you think about that, you invariably fire the ball towards the right, where those hillocks and thick rough is, and virtually no chance of reaching the par 4 and 2.
Frank, there's a lot to factor in on this approach at the 14th.
You can favor right side of this green and sort of allow the contours of the green just to move that ball to the left.
That one is bunker bound, it looks like. Well, he'll have to get up and down from the bunker to save his par. Well, we've seen this before today in the bunker. In the greenside bunker here, Frank. Nice to go to the beach, but not too often, we hope. Frank, that reminds you of maybe what, the greatest bunker player of all time? You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. Good work right there. He'll settle for par. If you're just joining us, we're at the 15th hole here at TPC Sawgrass, 449-yard par 4. Frank, what's in store here?
One of the prettiest tee shots on the golf course, Rich. Once again, you're coming out of a chute of trees, big bunker down the right side. Really, you want to hug that right side, though. It gives you a better entry into this green.
Frank, what's the key on this approach here at the 15th?
Well, knowing exactly where that pin placement is, Rich. There's mounding, there's that little gut out of the right side of this green. If you miss your mark here, that ball can easily finish 30 or 40 feet away.
So a chance for birdie after another solid approach shot. Made par yesterday, this one for birdie.
Now, just when you thought they might pick up one, now settle for a par.
Par bid here. Frank, a par here, that's just fine. Frank, you're one behind. Sunday afternoon, you're trying to win one of the game's great championships. Is this a spot that you love as a competitor, the 16th hole of par 5, with a chance to make a lot of noise?
It's a spot you cannot hide from, Rich, because you know exactly there. If you haven't looked at a scoreboard, you can feel it from the atmosphere.
And now the second shot here at this par 5.
Oh, this is heading in the wrong direction.
Uh-oh. Frank, I hate to go negative, but let's clear a few things up. The penalties when you hit it in the water versus hitting it out of bounds.
Yeah, some people, that's a good question, Rich, because some people think they're almost the same, but when you hit it out of bounds, you're actually losing a stroke and a distance. For example, if I'm teeing off on a par 4 and I hit it out of bounds, I'm penalised a stroke for hitting out of bounds, and I'm hitting my third shot off the tee. When I hit it into a water hazard, I don't have to lose all of that distance. I can drop the ball up just short of the water hazard. So the distance penalty isn't the same as if it was out of bounds.
So the previous shot into the drink, this now the fourth shot. Very well done, almost made it.
Yeah, there'll be no stress for the next one.
Bad news is, Frank, that's a bogey, but the good news, still has the lead.
Can't afford another, though.
Frank, how early in the round are you thinking about the shot at 17?
Well, when you're playing well, you're pushing it ahead. Maybe you don't think about it till 14 or 15. If you're struggling, you might be thinking it early as the 5th or the 6th hole. But put it this way, when you make the walk from 16 to 17, you are thinking of it every inch of the way.
This hole's been good to him. Birdie yesterday, and trying for another one today. Pretty much doing everything right this week. 11 under for the tournament. Now one of the more difficult holes in golf. The 18th here at Sawgrass, 462-yard par 4. In 2013, this hole averaged .39 strokes above par. What makes it so challenging, Frank?
Just that big body of water that's to the left of 18 here, that's also shared to the right of 9. Not a single fairway bunker on this 18th hole. So really, lack of definition. It's so hard to find a target here.
Well, it looks as though they're going to need to use all their strength to sort of hack it out of that rough, missing it off the tee here. Getting set for this next shot from the rough, what does the player need to be careful of here, Frank?
Well, this is where we're going to see exactly how good they are, because, you know, that's not exactly the best lie, but it's sort of doable if you know what you're doing.
Nice approach shot. He'll be happy with that. Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. He'll take par and move on.